Chapter 4: Fire Safety as Culture, Not Just Compliance. For more than 20 years, I have worked as both a fire inspector and a fire teacher, carrying lessons from the fire department into some of the biggest workplaces you can imagine. I began my career in uniform, answering alarms and seeing up close what fire does to people and buildings. Later, I moved into the business world, huge operations with more than 20,000 workers where one weak spot in safety could put entire communities at risk. In the fire department, I learned that lives depend on work done long before the sirens sound. In business, I saw how workplace culture, good or bad, shapes every choice, from keeping exits clear to making sure people feel safe speaking up about a problem. In both worlds, one truth has never changed: fire safety is not only about codes or systems, it is about people. As an inspector, I saw that a blocked door is not only against the rules. It is a sign of a culture that has lost its way. As a teacher, I learned that children, teenagers, and adults all absorb lessons differently. Stories help kids, practice helps teens, and open conversations help workers. Having worked on both sides, protecting the public and advising business leaders, I know this much: following the rules might keep you legal, but only a strong safety culture saves lives when the smoke comes. Compliance keeps you legal. Culture keeps you alive. Too often we think that passing an inspection, signing a checklist, or posting an evacuation plan makes us safe. But real safety is not what the code book says, it is what people do when smoke is rising. Culture versus compliance: codes are the rules. Following them is called compliance. But culture is the reason we follow those rules. Compliance says, the fire door must stay closed. Culture says, I keep this door closed because I know it could save a life. Compliance gives us a basic floor of safety. Culture lifts us higher. Here is the danger of thinking about safety only as compliance. People follow rules when someone is watching, but ignore them when it is inconvenient. Studies show that if safety is treated only as obedience, workers behave safely only under supervision. In places with a strong safety culture, people act safely even when no one is looking because they want to. Compliance is reactive. We do things after we are told. Culture is proactive. We do things because they matter to us. When you build a culture of safety, fire safety becomes part of who people are, not just a policy pinned on the wall. When paper meets reality, I saw this difference clearly in my own work. The supermarket. When I worked at a company that designed and built supermarkets, the plans always looked perfect. The exits were spaced according to the rules. Fire alarms and sprinklers were approved. Evacuation routes were neatly printed on the drawings. The projects were stamped and signed off as compliant. But once those supermarkets opened, the reality didn't match the drawings. Shelving shifted, storage rooms filled up. Deliveries and shopping carts blocked emergency exits. Employees signed off safety checklists without really reading them. The safety plan stayed on paper while the store grew and changed around it. Then came the first real fire alarm. Instead of calm and order, there was hesitation. Some shoppers didn't know where to go. Others tried to push through blocked aisles. Employees looked confused. The plan on paper became chaos in practice. The supermarket met every regulation, but without a living culture of safety, compliance could not save lives. The potash plant. At a potash processing plant, I saw the opposite. There, safety culture was alive. The systems were in place, yes, but workers were drilled and trained until safety became second nature. When a fire incident happened, nobody froze. Everyone knew where to go, what to do, and how to help each other. The evacuation was calm, quick, and organized. The plant was saved. That day taught me a powerful lesson: rules may build a factory, but only culture saves it. Why culture matters. The numbers back this up. FM Global found that out of every 10 property losses are caused by fire. Buildings without sprinklers suffer 7 times more damage than those with sprinklers, even when sprinklers accidentally go off. A 2024 study of hospitals showed that only 1% of staff truly knew how to handle a fire. Regular drills helped, but without a culture to support safety, training was quickly forgotten. These facts point to one truth: most fires do not have to end in tragedy. What is missing is not more rules or bigger fines, it is culture. Lessons from disasters. Let me share 3 stories where the real difference was culture or the lack of it. BP Texas City, 2005. On paper, the refinery looked fine. The manuals were there. The checklists were done. But production always came first. Safety always came second. Then came the explosion. 15 workers never made it home. Grenfell Tower, London, 2017. Grenfell had its paperwork. Risk assessments were filed, boxes ticked. But the culture was rotten cost-cutting, passing blame, ignoring residents' warnings. When fire raced up the outside cladding, 72 lives were lost. Compliance existed. Culture did not. Hospitals with real drills. Some hospitals, after near misses, decided to practice for real. Not easy, scheduled drills, but messy ones at night when people were tired. When real fires came, staff responded with calm and speed. Patients were moved quickly, alarms were understood, and chaos was contained. The difference was culture. The pattern is clear. Where culture is weak, disaster finds a way in. Where culture is strong, lives are saved. From agitation to education, when I worked as an inspector, much of my job was agitation, pushing safety messages through posters, leaflets, and announcements. But I learned that pushing makes people push back. Education is different. It builds trust. Later, when I took a fire educator course at Conestoga College, I noticed something missing. The course focused on paperwork and planning, but not on how children or adults actually learn. If we cannot inspire educators, how can they inspire the people they teach? Fire safety drills alone do not create culture. Real culture grows when drills are explained, when people understand why they matter, and when safety becomes a shared value. Teaching different groups, I learned that age changes everything. Children need stories. A fire drill can be turned into an adventure. The smoke is a dragon, the stairs are a safe trail. The meeting point is the castle gate. Stories stick. Teenagers need practice. Let them hold real extinguishers, feel the hiss, test the pass method, show them the danger of overloaded outlets or e-scooters. Practice gives them ownership. Adults need dialogue. Ask them, what could catch fire here today? Then let them test to exits. Ask, what slowed you down? Real lessons grow from real conversations. Stories for kids. Practice for teens. Dialogue for adults. That is how safety turns into culture. 8 levers of safety culture. Over the years, I have seen 8 habits that build culture again and again. 1. Agitation, campaigns, and reminders that keep safety visible. 2. Family marketing, when parents learn safety at home and pass it on. 3. Drilling, not neat drills, but messy ones that test real reactions. 4. Education, teaching in the language each group understands. 5. Community, neighbors, firefighters, schools working together. 6. Ethics, leaders doing the right thing even when unseen. 7. Relationships, inspectors, engineers, workers, residents as partners. 8. Leadership, managers who walk the routes, not just sign the papers. When organizations commit to these habits, fire safety stops being a document. It becomes a way of life. A personal moment. One evening, I asked my 14-year-old son about fire safety. He didn't know how to test a smoke alarm. He didn't know why we had a meeting spot outside. He had never been shown how to use an extinguisher. Even basic things about campfires were unfamiliar. That conversation hit me hard. If a bright teenager in Canada could grow up without these basics, then our schools and communities are not teaching fire safety as an everyday skill. And if we are not teaching it, how can we expect culture to grow? Building culture through story and brand. My wife and I started Fire Heart FSMA with this mission in mind. I brought to decades of fire safety experience. She brought 15 years of marketing and design. Together, we learned that rules without culture fail, but communication builds culture. Imagine if the 50 million people who work in fire safety worldwide each shared one lesson. That would be 50 million sparks of culture, 50 million reminders that safety is alive. Branding is not just marketing. Branding is culture. Branding is philosophy. Closing. So remember this. Compliance keeps you legal. Culture keeps you alive. Culture is when a fire door is closed because people believe in it. Culture is when drills prepare people for chaos, not just clipboards. Culture is when leaders walk the escape routes themselves, not just sign the paper.